The Kansas City Chiefs are still 5-0 the last time I checked, and yet the national media and everyone seems to think that the Chiefs are somehow broken despite all the injuries. We are undefeated. However, there are a number of trade rumors swirling out there. What's up, everybody? I'm Daniel Booth here with your Chiefs news of the day. Today is Friday, October 11th. Thanks so much for watching. Now, let me be the first to say here, everyone, I am not a reporter. I am not an NFL insider. I'm not a Chiefs insider. I'm just a fatty with a microphone and a camera doing this from his house. I grew up in Overland Park. I've rooted for the Chiefs my entire life. I'm now 40 years old, and I have always loved the Chiefs. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. I love talking about the Chiefs. I live and breathe and die the Chiefs. So if you like talking about the Chiefs just as much as I do, join in the conversation below and hit that like and subscribe button. So, yesterday, I talked about how I did not believe, however, that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to land a high-powered wide receiver trade before the trade deadline. I just didn't think that it would happen or that it is going to happen. It has still not happened. However, like I said, I am not a reporter, and I am not an NFL insider, so I could be wrong. And so, therefore, let's take a look at some of the trade rumors that are out there today on this Friday, October 11th. Boy, summer is over. All right, the first one that I want to talk to you about is one Mr. Robert Woods. So the Chiefs are predicted to trade for a former Super Bowl champion receiver from an AFC rival. There's a lot of speculation out there that Robert Woods has shown he can still be a complementary piece in a good offense, but the Texas depth at receiver has relegated him to a tiny role at Houston. He would be a much greater help to the Chiefs, even if Houston might be hesitant to help Kansas City Chiefs as well. I want you to remember that hesitancy that I just talked about. But yeah, they're talking about the latest is that Robert Woods could be the Chiefs' answer to getting another wide receiver after the devastating injury to Rashee Rice and to also Hollywood Brown, leaving us with just Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman, and Xavier Worthy carrying the brunt of the load. Sky Moore cannot even get on the field right now. So let's break down this Robert Woods potential trade. Robert Woods, what do we know about him? We know that he's certainly missed a step, but he has been a prolific and productive receiver in his past. If you look at some of the numbers, last year was completely disappointing. There's been a number of articles written about Robert Woods, that he is on the decline, that he is a fantasy football bust. I don't have him on my team, but a lot of speculation that his career is over. But remember that the Texans have a lot of receivers, and he's kind of getting pushed to the back pile. And so he's not getting those touches already because they're going to other players there on the Texans. But if we look at Robert Woods' career, let's take a look at this right here. He has 8,058 yards in his career, and his average is 12.1 yards per catch. That means he's getting a first down with every target that he is getting. So he is could be potentially another wide receiver that could stretch the field, and that is if the Houston Texans are willing to trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's a big if. Now, yesterday we talked about Devante Adams not choosing not to come to the Kansas City Chiefs, that the Kansas City Chiefs are out of those sweepstakes. So that means two things. One, either the teams don't want to deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, or it also means, though, that the Kansas City Chiefs are potentially very serious about bringing in another wide receiver. It's whether or not teams will help out the Kansas City Chiefs, who are won the Super Bowl 2 times in a row, and specifically if an AFC team is going to help out the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a huge if. Now, yesterday I said in no way, shape, or form did I think that this was going to happen, but the rumors are still out there, and this one is the Chiefs are predicted to land a $21 million wide receiver at the trade deadline, and that person would be none other than T. Higgins out of Cincinnati. I mean, I would be the first to pop champagne and pop streamers and run around my neighborhood with my shirt off. God forbid, if T. Higgins were to come to the Kansas City Chiefs. But let's figure out what's going on here. And so this prediction comes from the Sporting News, and they're pretty fair and accurate journalism organization. Everyone has their flaws, but Sporting News is pretty reputable. I've seen in the past. They're not like Joe's Chief page or, like this page. So they're talking about the Bengals potentially giving T. Higgins to the Kansas City Chiefs because he's in his franchise year and wants a big contract. Could be great, right? Could be amazing. But boy, my point in all this is how in the world is the Cincinnati Bengals, when they want to get their own Super Bowls, when they have they just lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in week 2 of this season, are going to turn around and give them a potential wide receiver that's going to beat them in the playoffs, deep into the playoffs, potentially in the AFC Championship. We all know that the Cincinnati Bengals come on strong later in the year. I expect them to make a run. And if you're going to tell me that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to land T. Higgins from Cincinnati, I'm saying that you are dreaming. Now, again, I'm not an insider. I'm not a reporter. I'm just a fan. So I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to need draft options because we talked about this yesterday. Kansas City Chiefs are going to need draft options because Mahomes' contract is so huge. You just simply don't have the money to pay everyone. Now, you could also make the argument, and this is a decent argument that I've heard and that I'm going to pass on, and I think that there is some credibility to it. Travis Kelce is almost done. And the Kansas City Chiefs this year have an opportunity to do something that no other NFL franchise has done. We all know what it is, and that is to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Andy Reid might be ready to hang up his cleats and go and eat a gigantic cheeseburger in paradise for the rest of his life. He has nothing left to prove. He's a first-round Hall of Famer, one of the best coaches that has ever lived. He has 3 Super Bowl rings. He has 5 Super Bowl appearances, and he's in his late 60s. So the conversation always has to be, how long is Andy Reid gonna go? So that all being said, that's why you could make the argument, well, Kansas City, let's give it one more shot. Let's bring in T. Higgins, or let's bring in Tyreek Hill. Let's go after this. Let's get the pieces in here. And then potentially Xavier Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice, maybe they're back from their injuries, including Isaiah Pacheco, by the playoffs. And potentially, I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is going to be back, but potentially having a robust offense, and we go and win this Super Bowl this year. We become house broke. We're not able to pay anyone, and basically we lose everyone, and we hit a major recline because we just simply can't recharge. But if you want to throw all your eggs in the basket, one last chance, one last opportunity, and go get that three-peat, and then pay that check later in the form of becoming a 500 ball club until we are able to retool in a couple years through the draft, I'm open to that conversation. What do you think, Kansas City Chiefs fans? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will respond. Thanks so much for watching. Let's go, Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Oh, love this team.